Thoughts from the trail. I'm Scott Anderson.
Good morning from the sunny trail here in the high Uintas of Utah. And actually, I am at a place called Ruth Lake, and I'll show you the lake in the background there, and the mountain. It's just so beautiful. And if you remember from previous posts, that I'm reading a book again called Finding Mother Tree by Suzanne Simard. And the very short premise of that is that there's underground fungal networks that allow trees to communicate and transmit nourishment and information, much like our brain does with synapses and I forget what they're called, when we're creating pathways in our brain pertaining to memory. And it has me thinking about our brains, and then it has me thinking about the fact that I'm teaching myself Chinese, and I remember when I was 11 and 12 and I was learning Spanish. Of course, circumstances were different. I was living in the country and I was immersed, but I was speaking relatively fluently by about 2 months in. And I've been studying Chinese now for about 9 months. And I started thinking about the plasticity of the brain, or in other words, is it flexible? Is it still growing? Is it still creating new pathways? Or is it becoming rigid and firm? And then that has me thinking about, well, as people get older, supposedly the saying goes, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, just in general, I reject that notion. But as I'm thinking about it, it does have me thinking about this. It's almost like a chicken and the egg question. Is our brain changing so much so as we age that we literally cannot learn as much? Or are we making lifestyle choices as we age that then is not using your brain and creating new pathways and new learning because we're getting older and we maybe don't have the same passion about learning, or maybe we feel we don't have a need to learn? And so that's a very interesting question to me. I'm going to guess that somewhere it's probably the answer is both. Maybe the brain is changing a little bit, but if that is the case, it's something we don't get to control. So then what do we get to control? We get to control the plasticity of the brain that we can create through continued learning. Like, for instance, my daily study of Chinese. I study Chinese almost an hour every day. I love learning it. It's phenomenal. It's a great language to learn. And that's one of the things I do to learn. I also read exclusively nonfiction books because I like to learn more things about the world. And that's just my personal preference, and I'm not saying I'm better or worse because of it. I'm just saying those are the choices that I'm making. But it's kind of a curious question. I want to continue to learn and to grow networks within my brain and nourish myself and nourish my mind and keep myself mentally active and aware and astute and contributing towards both my work, towards society, creativity, a whole bunch of things. Well, this is one of the geekier things I think about on the trail, but it is something I think about. I'm curious if it's something you ever think about, and I'm curious what you think about the question I posed. Is it changing because we're old and so it's totally out of our control? Is it something that's totally within our control if we continue to be very active and vibrant learners? Or is it somewhere in the middle? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know if you do come up with anything very interesting. Otherwise, I will see you next time on the trail. Welcome to Thoughts from the Trail. I'm Scott Anderson. Welcome to Thoughts from the Trail. I'm Scott Anderson. Thoughts from the Trail. I am Scott Anderson.